Hey Cardinals, let's review what we did in day one of the Cardinal Club days. Today I have my wife with me.
Hello. I'm here to help. I teach math at Logan County High School, and I actually have my students are building a game for their PBL.
That's
So
right.
I've had some experience with students like you building the game. So that's why I'm here to help.
Yes. And so we're gonna start and we're gonna begin with the start block. And so if you remember, I put a lot of the code in here when I started doing the examples for you. And one of the first things we're going to start with is gonna be your title map. So to do that, you're gonna go to scene and then you're gonna scroll down to the tile, set tile map. Now you can also what I like to kind of do is kind of set up a background just so we can have something showing in the back. It's like a static image. So I'm gonna go back to the scene and I'm gonna do set background color to. I'm gonna set this one on the actually no my bad no.
You could do a background color or
Yeah, I
background
might do a
image.
background image because that's
Yeah.
what we did that first day. I actually had a background image. I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna click on the gray box and I'm gonna go to gallery. And if I remember correctly, I had this forest. Is that right there? Now that's gonna show in the background, and that stays in the background. Next, we're gonna go to the tile map, and here in this portion of the tutorial, my wife's gonna chime in and she's gonna kind of explain to you how Make Parquet design their grid.
Okay, so this is our tile map, and you can change the size, but the given size is 16 by 16, and we can see that in the bottom left-hand corner. If you want to change the width, so like left and right size, then you'll change the first number. And if you want to change the height up and down size, you'll change the second number. And a good way to remember that is to think X, Y like a graph. It goes in that same order. So each tile here, which there are several given to us, is actually 16 by 16 pixels. So the 16s you see now are not pixels, they're tiles. So really, the width and the height at what we currently have in pixels is 256, which would be 16 times 16. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about the grand scheme of things. So let's just choose something here to start with. We've got this pretty flower
Now,
section.
I do remember that I made the width of it longer,
Oh, okay.
and then with it, so I think so. Like you
Are you
said,
just restricting it to the size of the screen?
no, I'm making it pretty big, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
it was something about I think it was 16, and I double no, I doubled this. I think
So it'll
maybe
be 32.
maybe three times. So I think maybe that'll work.
Yeah. It's
Um,
always good to zoom out too if you need to see the
yes.
whole thing.
I think I did the white right here. To let's see. If I do A be too small.
8 would be the like
Yeah.
only seeing the height
Nah,
of your screen. Yeah.
let's keep it like this for now. We can always update this as we progress making our level. Right? So I'm going to set up the something similar to what we did on day one, and then my wife is gonna kind of go over some of the caveats and of this template. So I think I had something like this. So let's
So
see.
let's choose a platform. If you want the platform
Mhm.
to look like the floor of your screen when you start the game, then you'll go down to the eighth
Well, actually, I think.
space.
All right, let's keep on like this. Yeah. Let me just put it up together real quick.
So right now he's making a platform. Platform meaning something you're actually going to stand on. We'll make it a wall in a moment, so you actually stand on it. You don't just pass through it. So that's important tool to use is the wall. As he's building this, let me reiterate what I was mentioning just a moment ago about having your platform at the y value of 8. And as he's dragging around, look at these numbers beside the 32 and the 16 that change. That tells you the location of the tile that you're on. Um, So the first number again is part of the width, and the second number is the height. And the second number is going down. So like you start at the top of the screen. So that's something that's good to know. And then you're starting at the left side of the screen for your first number. If you want your platform to look like the floor when you're just looking on your screen, you go to 8 because the height of your screen in pixels is 120. And that works out with our 16 height pixel for each tile to make it show. Now we've got this will be below our screen. We've got some fire, that's going to be a danger zone. And we've got a little place we're going to have to jump. And then anything we don't put a tile for, we'll see our background image. So just keep that in mind. Now we've got some platforms above, which would be like places we can jump on. You know, how we can collect things or have an enemy there. You've seen games like that before.
I think that's what I did last time.
Yeah, a little bush looks cool.
See, and I kind of pick another one.
One thing is you don't want to make them too far away. Like this is looking good here because you don't want them to be like, you know, too difficult for your character to jump from one place to the next. A lot of math involved in figuring out how to make sure the jump will reach to from platform to platform as well.
Oh, that's pretty good, right?
It
gives a little bit. Those little plants, it'll grow on you.
Yeah, it gives you a little dimension.
Yes.
And definitely looks great with the background image too. Looks a little funny now with the transparent background, but it looks great with the background image.
Yes, and I need some type of area to be like the end, like a goal.
Oh yeah, so like a place to reach.
Yeah, place to reach. Let's see if we find something here.
You can always make your own tiles as well if you're ever interested in doing that. Just like you can do your own art for any aspect of this game design. Mario has a pipe, right? So just think about what kind of goal would match your gameplay and your theme. It's good to go with a cohesive theme. We've got kind of a forest theme, a little bit of.
I don't know what you think about that.
Kind of. That looks pretty cool. It looks like a whole little house.
Yeah, it's like you reach that and you just get to the lever and you press the lever and you win type of thing.
Yeah, looks good.
I think that should be good for now. And let's refresh it. All right, see, there it is. So you really can't see the beginning yet, but we'll like at least the bottom part of it, but we will see it in a minute once I add the sprite.
Yeah, that's another thing. Instead of putting it at the height of 8, and I'll say this as he makes the sprite, you can just have your camera follow your sprite, and your sprite can be on the platform, and that should start the game where you can view your sprite on that first platform, that main platform. So there's other ways to do it. So now we're going to get a sprite, which is like our characters. We're just going to choose something from the gallery.
Yeah, I'm going to pick. Let's see, where was he?
You can always filter as well if you wanted to filter for people.
Let's do that one.
Animals. Right, looks good. He's facing to the right, which is great for our platform style game. He's floating.
And let's go ahead and give a controller so we can move him.
This allows us to actually control our player to move them around with buttons.
And I think the camera. See, I'm just gonna tap it.
Yeah, if you ever forget where a place is, you can always search it.
Camera follow sprite. And remember, we did all this the first day, so this is just so that you guys have a reference so that you guys can remember how this works. Okay, now I can move my character around. But now you notice that I'm going through all the objects that's supposed to be solid, and we need to fix that. So I'm gonna go back to my tile map. And if you remember, there's this option here called wall. I think if you hover over it, it will tell you, it will say what it does, which is draw walls. And I'm gonna use the paint bucket to kind of go do this a little quicker. So
Paint bucket will, if you want to use a math term, paint bucket will color in all adjacent, congruent tiles. Adjacent means beside, congruent means the same. So anytime you've got the same block right next to each other, it'll fill it in. Notice we didn't fill in the entire fire area with a wall because we want to make it to be a danger zone. Like if you actually touch it, you're gonna lose points or maybe just lose a game. And then we didn't fill in the little grassy plant areas with the wall because we want it to look like part of our background. We want to be able to walk through it. Saving, and let's try it out.
All right, let's see. All right, so now I won't go down. I won't go past it. It's no transparency. Here it is. And it looks pretty good. There's their lava right there. And there is their goal. When we reach it here, we'll win. In day 2, we will have enemies that we have to fight. But for now, we're just gonna be showing you how to set up just the tile map and basically also we're gonna be doing shooting fire from like kind of like Mario, where he can, when he takes the flower, he starts shooting fire.
Yeah, that's called a projectile for like the keyword in our game. Projectile is also a big mathematics word. It means something flying through the air.
Yes.
So
there is one thing that we do need to do to just kind of, this is not the best way to do it, but we'll be showing you much better way to organize your code. And for now I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna go to Sprite. I'm gonna go to position, and
this is changing where our sprite starts at. You know, notice we're putting it on start, so
yes,
we
like
can
that.
control where our sprite begins the game. So you start at 0, 0, which you notice is the top left-hand corner. So from there, you can decide, and it's great that they give us this grid here. You can use guess and check. You could find out exactly where you want to put your sprite. If you wanted to look at your tile map or your tile map.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Right.
So be from here, you go scroll down, and then the bottom part tells you next to the pixels, right? Like next to the pixels, but
the dimensions.
The dimensions 32 by 16.
Width and height.
It shows you here, gives you an example. So we're at 0, 10, so what will be the position there?
It might be better to say 110 instead of 0, 10 because if you put a 0, sometimes it's not enough margin to see your sprite. So we'll try 110. 1 is our X and 10 is our Y.
Remember, it turns into pixels.
Oh, good catch. That's right.
That's why I want you to.
So 1 and 10 for this image, or what we're looking at right now, is tiles. We need to convert. You may have heard of conversions before. We need to convert to pixels because that's what our X and Y takes in our position block. So we just have to multiply by 16. So 16 and then 160.
Okay.
Good catch. So X is 16. We want to give ourselves some margin. And then we've got 160.
And there it is. Now that's that will be a little bit over the top of that last block. So let's do another 16.
You've got to think that goes in
so how much?
Pieces of 16. So you've got a little bit of gap there. It puts it in the middle of that tile. So that's why there's a little bit of visual error there. So from here we can guess and check. That means increasing our Y means we're going more down. Maybe 170.
That looks good.
Looks pretty good, yeah.
Now, so to make sure that you just don't float or you can go up and down, we're gonna go to our move sprite with buttons, hit the plus sign, and for the velocity Y, you want to put 0. And can you talk to us about this velocity, Vx and Vy?
So when it says that Vy there, that means velocity, which the word velocity means speed with direction. That's why there's 2 different velocities, an X one, which is left and right, like a graph, and a Y one, which is up and down. So we have a platform game. We don't want to go up and down with our buttons. We're going to make a jump later on. So that's why it's 0 for now. You don't just walk up and down in real life. like you're moving here. So we want to make it realistic.
Yes. All right, so now we have our tile map, we have our character. We only go on left and right without floating or flying around. There is one more thing we can do to make this a little more realistic. So when we go down here, we fall down. And that is by going to the sprite and then going to set my sprite. It has this X over here, and you want to use it's called set, and you just drag it out and you put it right. I think it will be right after. I think you can put it right here, and then you can change this X instead of X. That's the position of X right now. Well, we want to change it to, so you notice how it went to 0 and moved it back. Now, if I were to move this around and put different numbers, it would only change the X, the X axis.
Yeah, the X position, the left, where it is in the left and right distance.
Yes. I would use this if I wanted to make my character teleport by using the buttons. If I wanted to make a teleport game,
Or you could even, like that. Instead of set, you could say change.
Yes.
And in mathematics, we can relate that to translations.
Yes. Now, here is what you want to come here and change, though. I think it's going to be the acceleration of Y. I think the velocity. You want to change the velocity in it?
I think it's acceleration. We can try both and see.
Let's try velocity.
Well, we already set our velocity Y to 0.
Let's see.
So acceleration is the change in speed.
Yeah, that works. It's acceleration.
So we want our change in speed. We want to change our speed to going down. Remember, one thing that's a little bit, there we go.
It worked. Yeah, it's acceleration.
Even though a graph going down is negative Y, here it's positive. So just keep that in mind. So this means acceleration Y. So we're going down with that positive number there at a speed of 50. We're changing our speed at 50 pixels per, I guess it's probably pixels per second would be the units.
And we will have other videos where we are going to go in small chunks, but explain better the math behind it. So remember, this is just a review for the Cardinal Club, so that you guys can watch this video and kind of learn how to set up the game. So next we got our sprite, we got the position, we can move it. We have some gravity, right? So it goes down when it's down the hill.
Yeah, so essentially some gravity.
Yes.
Later you might learn about, or you can calculate actual gravity based on the number of gravity.
Yes. So let's go ahead and start now. Maybe do the jump first before we do the shooting.
Sure.
So let's go here, and we're gonna use this. We're gonna go to controller, right? The little icon shows you what's gonna be happening. It's gonna control the character. So, and when we're gonna drag this block.
Notice the shape of this block matches the shape of our green on start. That's because it's another, I like to call it an initializer.
But it's really an event.
Okay, there you go. See, I'm making it my own math words.
Yes. It is an event. It basically checks for an event, and that's basically the event happens on the actual hardware. So if you have or simulator here. So this event waits for this when you press A button. So when you press the button A, we want something to happen to our sprite. And in this instance, we wanted to jump up. So just like we did with the set, so what was the set? Yeah, set right here. We want to do the same thing, but we want to go up now. So I think with that is velocity.
Remember, I'm pretty sure it's acceleration.
No, because if you do acceleration, we'll continue to go.
Oh, yes,
forever.
It's the change. We don't want it to keep changing at that rate. That's true, yeah.
So if we go here to set.
Or is it set or change?
We'll try set.
We'll try.
First.
There's
and then velocity. Since velocity doesn't continue, it will just go at that speed for an amount of time. And so here we do 50. So probably jumping pretty high. And watch negative. Right. Watch how I put the negatives because it has to go the opposite direction.
Right.
So let's see.
Up is negative.
There it is. That looks pretty good.
Now the reason it's going back down is because we still have that on start as acceleration Y to 50. That's why it's going back down instead. Otherwise, we would just go up and it would just, our sprite would stay in that spot.
Yep. And notice that I can double jump. We'll fix that. There shouldn't be no double jump, but we'll fix that. So it just be one jump. All right. So we have that. And next we can work on the shooting fire from our hands. So we're gonna go ahead and drag go to the controller again and drag another event block, and then click on it and switch it to B. I think that should be.
Yeah, you could choose whatever, but you definitely can't be having A and B do different things, right? You can't have A do one thing and then do a different thing. That won't work. So.
No, and then go back to our sprite, and then we'll drag. No, that one. Sorry.
We're looking for the projectile block now.
Projectile. Here it is.
There's two types. We want to do it from Sprite, right?
I think from Sprite. They have two options. We'll focus on this one for today. And we want to select, remember, we're gonna go to this gray empty box, go to gallery, and then we're going to select, here somewhere over here we have the fire. There it is, and hit done. And it's gonna be shooting from the sprite. So let's test it out and see how it's going down. You gotta fix that by changing the velocity of the actual projectile.
The reason it goes diagonal it looks like it's going in a diagonal because it's a combination of X and Y's. If you just want it going left and right, for instance, you would do what we're doing now and make your velocity Y 0. You don't want it going up. Now, the reason it looks like it's, at an arch there is because our character's moving.
Yeah, so we got that now. So far, I think we got what we did in the first day. Let me see if there was something else we did that first day.
One more thing about our velocity X is positive. That's why it's going to the right. If we wanted to shoot to the left, we would make a negative velocity of X.
Yes. And I did remember we did some animations as well. So let's do it now. We're gonna start doing some animations. So we're gonna go ahead and the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna go to the sprite, and we want to scroll down and first get this block called uncreated sprite of kind player. We want to do that because our sprite has a kind, and our sprite for our main character, the kind is player. So when that happens, when that sprite is created, we want to do something to it. And so the first thing we want to do is to animate it. So we're gonna go scroll down where it says animations. Let's see where it was animations. Advanced.
Yeah.
You go to advanced, and you find that there are animations. You grab the animation block, drag it out, and you put it right there. And so on creative sprite of kind player, and you just drag it out there like that. So when that is created, so remember to you gotta drag it out like this, and that will make sure that the player sprite is the one that is being animated. Then we'll click on the empty gray box, go to the gallery, and we're gonna start with the right movement. So when it's moving to the right, we're gonna animate it with using this one. Let's see, create a sprite kind of player. Oh no, actually the way I did it last time, this is more an advanced way. We'll talk about this way another time. Sorry, this is not how we did it on our first day. We went to the controller first. Yeah, we'll do controller. There are the other ways, an advanced way to animate, and we'll talk about that in another video. But the way you want to do is go another event, and when you press the button right,
yeah,
then you animate.
If you're pressing right, that means your character's moving to the right.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be great if they look like they're walking.
Yes. So go to the gallery, and it was that one here. Hit done. And they create the animations for you, and there we'll have also, like I said, other videos where we also talk more about animations. But here it is, and you want to go ahead and loop it. And we're gonna do this way. Is not the preferred way that I like to animate, but you just copy by doing Control C and Control V. And now what you want to do, see, is it's kind of like has a yellow color because it's saying you can't have
two of the same thing.
Two at the same time. But what I'm looking for is this release right there. So now when you press it, it animates. But when you let's see, you want to go back to animations, and then you want to do stop all animations on sprite. I think that's what you want to do.
Yeah, sure. Then you're just back to your regular picture of your Sprite.
Let's see.
Should be. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we need to change this to.
Or I guess it's the last image that is left on the animation.
There you go. And now it's animated. But see, it doesn't. When I go back, it doesn't animate to the other direction. So what I'll do, same thing. Let's go. Let's start again from the beginning. Go to controller, and then drag it out.
I bet you can guess what we're gonna do next. We're gonna do left button press.
And press, and we go back to animations. Drag our animation block. Click on the gray box. Go to gallery and select the left one, right there. It's done. Now remember to change the milliseconds. Basically, this is how fast the images change in that 1 millisecond. So we're gonna do it to 100. I think it's a second. So every 1 second you want every 100 milliseconds of that second for the image to change. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. So we're gonna go on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and Control C, Control V. We need to change it to release and delete this one. Go back to animation and stop all animations when it's released. And that will do that. Let's see, try it out. So it goes to the front.
Move this to the right.
Now it goes to the right.
And left.
There we go.
Awesome.
Now still, we need to probably fix the jump, but we'll have in the template that I will share with you guys. Will have already some gravity and stuff. Because I would like to talk about it more, but we won't have enough. The video will become too long to try to explain that part. So you will have it. I'll share with you. And now we have our animations. Now we're gonna go ahead and start talking about. Oh, and we can do the projectile. I think that was it for that first day. We animated. We had we can shoot here. I think that is it. Now we could do. Oh yeah, we could do an statement, but I think I did that on the advanced animation. So I think this should be it for this video. So you guys will have a link to the actual template, so everything that you see here you have. But I might organize this better for you guys, so you guys can use it and have some little extra surprises here. So hopefully this helped. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. The second day of the Cardinal Club, we'll be talking more about how to set up some enemies and how to reach the goal, so you can have so when you reach the goal, you win the game. And that's it.
All right. See y'all next time.